You're listening to the Behind Ears podcast, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Hey everybody, it's Mr. Chris, and I gotta tell you about Expedition Roasters. Listen, I'm a pretty big coffee drinker, just like a lot of you are, but these people have got coffee right. Their coffees are made from selectively sourced premium and specialty grade Arabica beans. They provide the absolute best flavor and aroma, and select roast even come directly from a single estate farm for a truly perfect cup that is never bitter. They've got awesome Disney-inspired flavors such as Roundhouse Roast, Route 66, Skipper's Brew, Dark Side Roast, Redhead Rum, and one of my favorites, Bob Slitter's Brew. Listen, if you want to have the taste of Disney in every cup, give them a try today. ExpeditionRoasters.com, and Behind the Ears podcast listeners gets an extra 20% off your first order by using the coupon code EARS20. That's right, EARS20. And you can find them over at ExpeditionRoasters.com. Brew your happy place. If you have a little one and you're going to Walt Disney World, you're going to need a stroller. I'll tell you what, KingdomStrollers.com is the place where you want to look into. I'll tell you, I've destroyed my fair share of strollers while at Walt Disney World, and those things are not cheap. But getting something from KingdomStrollers.com, they'll be able to help you pick out the perfect stroller for you. And the nice part is that because they're a Disney preferred provider, they'll be able to drop it off and pick it up right from your Disney resort at no extra charge. So if you don't want to necessarily destroy your stroller in the process and you want to have a great Disney vacation with your little one, contact KingdomStrollers.com and they'll set you right up. That's KingdomStrollers.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny, the man that looks a little flushed tonight. He was too busy laughing over there. That is Mr. Chris. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing ducky tonight, man. It's Tuesday. It's muggy. It almost feels like I'm in Florida, but I'm not in Florida. I'm in my studio, so I can't be in Florida. No, I was going to say I could, but no, I'm not. I don't have. I'm just being awesome. I'm just not that. Teleportation would be awesome,
right? Think about that. I had the conversation the other night at dinner. I was like,
really?
If only teleportation was real.
You talked about teleportation at dinner, but okay, I have to say, what do you have for dinner that goes along with teleportation discussions?
Tacos.
That's what we had today. We had tacos Tuesday. So. Excellent. Well, it is Tuesday, everybody, and that means another wonderful episode being recorded live. Please feel free to join in on the conversation, and if you are listening to us live, watching us live, I should say, please feel free to share us with your friends. And also, for those of you who are listening to us via a podcast, make sure you tell a friend. Make sure you share this out with your friends, families, and even total and complete strangers. It's how podcasts get known, is through people like you that tell other people about us. So
sharing, I heard back in the day, sharing is caring. I
don't
know if it's true though.
You know what? I think it is true. I think it's absolutely true.
Only one way to find out,
and that is to share.
Share away.
Yeah. So what's going on tonight, man? Anything cool, new, and groovy?
They did announce a couple hours ago the 2018 4th of July fireworks and entertainment lineup, if you were interested in hearing about that.
I'm interested in hearing about that. I won't be there for the 4th of July, nor do I think I'd really want to be there for the 4th of July. But let's go ahead and hear about it.
It's quick. Magic Kingdom's The Disney Celebration of America, a 4th of July concert in the sky. Show starts at 9:15, and that will be running the 3rd and the 4th of July. And supposedly that is the best fireworks show that they put on. I've heard from many people who are locals down there who do business with us or work alongside with us. And I've heard, majority rules in the fact of people saying that this fireworks celebration at the Magic Kingdom for 4th of July beats out Hollow Wishes, beats out the Christmas party fireworks.
That's
I know they do like a 360 shoot in this one.
You see, the 360 stuff, I mean, that's awesome. But here's the funny part. Most people are going to be still staring at the Castle. And the only places that you really get to enjoy that 360 view is if you're on top of the Contemporary or you're on the top of Bay Lake Tower. You can actually see all the fireworks from around Magic Kingdom. It is something to be seen. I'll tell you, they have done that before. It's not like this is something that's new and unique, but the types of pyro may be different, but I've seen it for some of the holiday shows and it's fabulous. I mean, it really is absolutely fabulous. I mean, Chris actually makes a comment, New Year's Eve and 4th of July are the best. I am sure that they are some of the most absolutely awesome shows, but let's face it, that's the kind of day where you go to the Magic Kingdom at Rope Drop and you basically camp. You don't do a whole lot. You definitely don't leave because it is like one of the busiest times to be there. And, but yeah, that's what you just got to do, just see what happens.
Yeah. Obviously Animal Kingdom has no fireworks. Moving over to Epcot, and I think this is a big one. And the reason I'm going to say that is because I'm going to go out on a limb and say by July 4th of 2019, you will not see an Illuminations. So if I'm wrong, hey, you got to be in Disney and you were there for Illuminations. But if I'm right, you might want to go see the last, July 4th spectacular. Let's see. Illuminations Reflections of Earth with special 4th of July finale on July 4th only at 9 p.m. Let's see. They will have a Liberty a cappella group will perform traditional American songs on the American Gardens Theater at 5:30, 6:45, and 8. And Disney characters dressed in Independence Day attire will meet guests during the day at the American Adventure. Disney's Hollywood Studios. It's a sign of what's happening. Star Wars, a galactical spectacular, 10 p.m. on July 4th. You're just going to start to see Hollywood Studios just pumping out Star Wars stuff constantly.
But the thing is, they still do stuff like that now anyway, but I predict that it's going to be more so on the 4th of July. So yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, though, is they literally, everything has to do with Star Wars. Like, there's no break. No. Let me rephrase that if anybody walked in. No, Illuminations is not done after July 4th. No. My personal guess is that this is the last 4th of July you will see Illuminations with the 4th of July finale. I don't think that Illuminations makes it. Ed's saying Illuminations will be there in 2019 according to cast memo they released a few weeks ago. Cast memos are great. They're not set in stone. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey, I mean, listen, it's an honest guess. That's all it is. It's just one man's opinion. I don't see it lasting till 2019 July.
I'm hoping it does, but that again, that's just me. I'm hoping on the other end that it actually stays through next year, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, all I'm going to say is it's just a guess. That's simple as that. Let's keep rolling here.
Yeah.
They have some patriotic treats. What is a Behind the Ears podcast episode without some food? Select theme parks and resorts will offer exclusive dessert items in honor of Independence Day. We have a 4th of July cupcake. Oh, this sounds good.
When Danny stops and says, ooh, shiny moment, it's going to be good.
A 4th of July cupcake featuring an apple pie filling at Creature Comforts and Isles of Java at the Disney's Animal Kingdom. An apple pie cupcake. Okay. A sparkly red, white, and blue coconut macaroon dipped in white chocolate at the Boardwalk Bakery over at Boardwalk Resort. Patriotic dipped strawberries and Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse mini domes at Amorette's, right? Is that how you say it? I never know how to say that. Amorette's, I think so. Let's see. The 4th at the Fort. I like that. This is regarding Fort Wilderness Resort and Campgrounds. They will be offering some special events. The 4th of July 5K run will take place on Tuesday, July 3rd. Obviously, you need to pre-register. That the pre-registration is actually coming up rather quickly, June 24th to the 30th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Fort Wilderness Bike Barn. On-site registration begins at 7 a.m. in the field next to Mickey's Barbecue. The run begins from that location at 7:30 a.m. That's not bad. That's a quick run, 7:30. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
The 4th of July golf cart parade. I always love watching these on YouTube. Begins at 4 p.m. on July 4th. Registration will be open once again the same dates. The 4th of July Beach Bash will take place from 6 to 11 on July 4th. Guests will enjoy a live DJ, dancing, games, contests, a movie, and more. In addition, the Fort Wilderness food truck will be available in the settlement area with delicious items for purchase.
Okay.
Not bad. Well, you didn't seem too excited about the apple-filled cupcake.
No, actually, it does sound really good, but I'm also sitting to myself thinking, that's a lot to put in a cupcake. Because usually cupcakes are more of a frosting transport mechanism.
See, and I hate when they do that.
You know what I mean? I don't necessarily care for when it's like, when it's this much frosting to like that much cupcake. I don't care for that. But sometimes what ends up happening, this is just me. Hey, I'm not a professional cupcake eater, and I don't play one on TV, and I didn't stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night. But when you have a stuffed cupcake, it's harder to split in half because it usually ends up crumbling and stuff like that. You never get a good half cupcake. I'm just saying.
Mary goes, Steve says, how long did it take for them to get the food? I don't know, like 4 minutes tonight. Pretty solid. I thought that was a pretty good run. No, I'm more of a savory person more than a sweets guy. Mm-hmm. So I don't like frosting very much.
I know you're not too much into sweets. I mean, your idea of a dessert is a piece of prime rib. So.
What was it? My sister started getting, we have a lot of birthdays for the kids and parties and whatnot. She started getting cakes with buttercream on them. Ooh. or just the homemade whipped cream frosting type. Ooh. Oh, so much better. I can eat that all day. Mm. Oh, geez, Louise. Now, salivating.
Yeah, because give me a good buttercream or a good whipped cream. Oh, yeah.
All right. I wanted to talk about this because the other night I was on my way home from Maryland, and me and the lady listened to your coffee break.
Oh, okay.
That Sunday night.
Sure.
Put it up on the dashboard and we were listening to it. Oh. And I'm sitting there nodding along, talking to you, even though you can't hear me. And listening to you explain to people like, hey, these are gimmicks. People are just using it for clickbait. These are not the official rules on how to win a contest and everything. Sure. And it's funny you say that because I've seen I haven't seen the Southwest one you talked about. Uh-huh. I've seen the cruise line one, mm-hmm. and I've seen 3 different. Oh, our last contestant was only 16 and couldn't win this brand new Jeep Cherokee.
I saw that today.
Ford F-150, and I'm like, after the first one, I was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. Why would someone enter if they're not 16? But okay. Then I was like, wait a minute, this is way too good. I mean, I never entered it in those things anyway because I just don't have the luck of the Irish, but. To go along with what you were talking about, it's funny that we see all this because now all of a sudden Disney has come out and you can win a one-of-the-kind Walt Disney World experience, which is glamping in Pandora. Have you seen this?
I did. And, the funny part about it is I actually kind of reserved comment because I wanted to talk a little bit about it tonight. Okay. Just in case anybody wants to know, Danny and I haven't talked to each other in several days. In fact, I don't think we've talked to each other since, Thursday's show. We had a few chats on the side, but nothing about tonight's show. Because why? We're unscripted. What can I tell you? But I did see that, and I thought that was really super cool that you could actually get a chance to go glamping in Pandora. And, but here's the twist. This may be where you were going with this. My whole take where I was going with was that in order to enter, you have to submit a video. It's not like, here, let me give you my name, address, email, phone number. You have to submit a video, explaining why you deserve this, so to speak. And I'm thinking to myself, a video. And it was kind of going through the different rules, you can't have music in it. If you're going to dress up in anything, and it has to be Disney attire. You got to be careful of other logos or other branding in your video, like outside of what you're doing, and so on and so forth. But I thought to myself, wow, why would they want a video? I mean, think about it. There's got to be another reason why
marketing.
Disney. Well, I was thinking marketing, but here's also the other part to it. I would you pick this?
No. Yeah.
I mean,
you sure ain't putting this on a flight.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of funny. I mean, it's just it's kind of like, do you have to have a Disney look in order to be a part of it? And, I understand it doesn't say that. It doesn't say anywhere that, your video may be used for marketing materials or anything like that. But I just thought it was rather odd, rather strange that,
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, it just seems rather strange that they would want a video. But also at the same time, maybe it's also to help see if it's one of the part of the contest to see who can follow rules, who can follow directions. Because it has to be certain limit. The file size has to be a certain type.
Do you think it's a bit of a stretch to looking for content creators?
I think they're looking for people who are not content creators.
Interesting. I
mean, think about it for a second. If you're a professional content creator or even a semi-professional content creator, and you make a video that just blows them out of the water, production wise, what does that really mean? Do they really want that? Or do they want an average person that says, you know what, I can really use this? But it's a huge, huge win if you get it. And it looks awesome. I mean, how would you like to wake up? First off, how would you like to go to sleep in Pandora? How would you like to wake up in Pandora? All I got to say is that would be awesome. I myself am not eligible to win. Oh, well. But, it's one of those cases.
I wouldn't be able to sleep.
Well, it's glamping, man. Basically, it's going to probably have an air-conditioned tent with actual beds and, all done up. I don't know how they're going to do it there in Pandora, but I just think that would actually be pretty, pretty rad. And if you win it, you have to be able to do it within only a few small days in July. Few select days in July.
Hot.
And the latter part of July, I might add. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to do this when I feel like it. No. You got to go down there for an overnight trip when, within a very small window. Good luck.
So the things that Chris was talking about, if you wanted to see, we'll post a link up, but I'll briefly just run through this real quick. The do's and don'ts. The do's: do protect your privacy. Please don't include any last names or personal information while recording. Do be original. Entry has to be 100% original. Shoot in landscape mode. Be bright. Use sunlight, light bulbs, whatever.
Shoot in landscape mode. Well, there disqualifies half the people that try to do videos on an iPhone.
Yep. Keep it steady. Make sure your camera is on a tripod, or make sure something is holding it steady. Well, I literally am just going through my head thinking, well, you're disqualified. I'm just going through the people I know that create content. I'm like, well, you're disqualified. You're disqualified.
What they don't want is this, and they don't want this.
Yeah.
They don't want your, so, well, there. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I'm going to get dark just because of the screens that I'm on. Let's see. Do take a look at these additional details. So here's what Chris was talking about. Grand prize winner must take trip between July 28th and July 31st. That is it. Those are your days. Can't get off of work? Sorry, you lost the trip.
Yeah.
Sponsor reserves the right without additional notice to record the interview for internal judging purposes, as well as for possible use in advertising and publicity for this content.
There you go.
And sponsorship. Boom. This is the first time I'm reading this, and I nailed it. And I didn't even know it.
And I didn't even see that. I didn't see that part either. And I'm thinking to myself, the only reason why it could be for marketing purposes, which, Danny, I got to be honest with you. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're giving you 4 days for free.
No, they're only doing
and flying,
it's only one.
No, but you get 4 day park.
4 days,
and you get round trip flight.
But what I'm getting at, you know what? Stop. Go ahead and finish. I'll finish my diatribe on this in a minute.
Oh, okay. For some reason, my mother's calling me while I'm doing a show. Hopefully, no one's breaking in. Portions of the grand prize trip may be filmed for segments to be shared on sponsors' website, social channels, and or otherwise used to advertise, market, promote the sponsor and or its products at a later date. Have fun. The don'ts. Don't include anyone else in your video. The submitting entrant must appear in the video and must be the only person in the video. You should tell us why he or she wants to win the ultimate glamping experience. Do not show any brand logos. Avoid visible, recognizable use of brands other than Disney brand items. Don't include any copyrighted music or sound effects in your entry. This includes any music from the film Avatar or from Pandora, the World of Avatar. Don't be rude or profane. That's silly that they need to put that in there, but I guess hot coffee in a cup goes a long way. Don't wear revealing clothing or display suggestive movements. Oh, man, I would love to know the videos they've gotten in the past to do this.
Wait, since I'm not eligible anyway, should I just do something really off the wall?
Don't submit an entry that is too big, too long, or in the wrong format. Entry must be 2 minutes in length or less, with a file size no larger than 200 megabytes. Required video formats. I'm not going to go through all that. Finalists will be scheduled for a phone Skype interview with designated representatives of sponsors and the Walt Disney World Resort on either July 9th or July 10th.
And chances are what they want to do is make sure that you are the person that actually submitted the video.
Okay.
That's,
So basically what those rules were, if you're just joining us, Disney is offering the ultimate glamping experience at Disney's Animal Kingdom for one lucky winner. Along with the night in Pandora, the winner will receive round-trip airfare, 2 4-day park tickets, a CIP tour guide, and $250 gift card. Now, that's an interesting way to word it. I don't know if you caught that. So you're getting 2 4-day park tickets, right?
Right.
So that means you could have 2 people.
Right.
But it says for one. Okay, so they're just saying one lucky winner. I get it now. Okay.
In other words, it's you and a guest. This isn't a family thing. If you think about it, you're not going to be doing this. You're not going to be doing this with your family of 6. So it's really what it's coming down to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And they're only giving you one night in the park. That's it. The other night, I'm not sure where they put you up. I don't know if that's out of your pocket, but it's just one night inside the park. You know what my question is? Imagine the security detail that they're going to have. They're not going to let you're in the park. They're not going to let you at 3:00 in the morning be like, I can't sleep. I'm going to go walk. No, you're confined to that tent.
No, but actually think about it this way. It's not just that. You'd probably be allowed to get up and go to the restroom or something like that right there or whatever. But here's kind of my thing. It's not just for that, but it's also for your safety. Why? Because at night is when you have a whole separate cast that takes care of the park, getting it ready for the next morning. So it's not just, I'm going to, clean the streets and stuff like that. You've got everybody doing everything, getting that park ready. And they only have, 6-7 hours to do it. So
we got some questions. Kevin wants to know, would you rather have one night at Pandora, Haunted Mansion, or the castle?
You see, the thing is that if you're at Pandora and you're glamping, that's one thing. If you're in the Haunted Mansion, what kind of accommodations? And then, of course, we all know what's in the castle in the sense of the suite itself. So I would actually say that if I really want comfort and comfort and luxury, I'm going to say the castle. If I want to try something totally, different and kind of cool in the middle of an actual theme park land, I'd definitely go Pandora. But, I wouldn't pass up a chance for either one.
I would prefer Tower of Terror, in my opinion, over Haunted Mansion. But listen, Cinderella's Castle, it seems amazing, and I would never turn my nose up at it. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't want to do that. Glamping at Pandora sounds great, but it's my least favorite park. So I don't want to do that. Now, if you said I can glamp inside Toy Story Land, that's a different story.
But
But I'm gonna go with Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
I like the scary aspect, but I could not do that alone. I need somebody. I would be too scared.
You see, I was thinking about the whole thing with Pandora. What would be cool about Pandora is if they had the lighting on and kind of like the ambient sounds of Pandora going on in the background. Because because if you turn that off, you technically have probably like next to no sounds whatsoever other than some very faint sounds of nature. And I would be like, that would drive me nuts. I know when I go camping, I love to hear the tree frogs croak. I love to hear the crickets chirp and stuff like that. I would love to, have some Pandora noise in the background. I think that would actually be really cool.
No, I see where you're coming from. No. I'm not saying I would turn down the chance to stay at the castle. I was giving a three options.
Yeah,
and that was just my how I rationalized it with myself.
Yeah, no, I understood. I understood what you're getting at. Yeah.
What did he say, Albert? How about Space Station in Mission Space?
I think it's too sterile of an environment. Unless I got to actually sleep on that big round circular thing, then I would then talk to me. I think that'd be cool.
No, I know some people are like, hey, it's too hot. Hey, glamping is not a tent. Glamping could be with a tent if you have like a full-size bed and an air conditioner and like a TV in there. Go watch Parks and Rec when they go into the woods, and one of the characters.
I'm surely not going to be sitting in a tent or anything like that in the middle of Florida at the end of July without any sort of AC. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I love Disney. I don't want to be 15 pounds lighter by morning just because I, perspired that much.
Yeah.
I like John's thing. Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. That would be cool. I actually think that would be pretty tripping. I like that idea.
So sometime this week, the Slinky Dog Dash test will begin with Disney cast members. We talked about last Thursday, the annual pass blockout dates lifted during most of June.
Right.
I know we touched on the pass holders getting that exclusive access to Toy Story after it opens in September. Did you see that the Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Live debuted in Epcot a couple days ago?
I did, and I heard some people that were there. I heard like maybe 10 seconds of audio from it, and it really kind of seemed kind of cool. I mean, if you're into that kind of retro music from that, the 70s era type of thing, I think that's actually really pretty cool. I like good live music, even if it's done by cover bands. Oh yeah, I'm all over that.
Some of did you see some of the pictures of Guardians of the Galaxy, the ride that they're building?
The only pictures that I saw is basically Brian, our friend down there, kind of made a comment that he was over by Japan. I think it was either Japan or China, one of the two. And he made a comment on how tall the structure was. And it can easily be seen from the other side of Epcot. And I realized the perspective might not be perfect on this, but it looks like it will be taller than Test Track. Which Test Track is not the tallest building, around. Not in Epcot, but the thing is that it still looks like it's going to be a very commanding view, which first thing I thought when I saw that picture was, how are they going to make that like not stick out like a sore thumb for those people that are actually on that back southernmost tip of World Showcase, and now all of a sudden they're going to see this big huge Guardians of the Galaxy type of thing. I mean, what are they going to do in a sense of cosmetically masking it? That's just my thought process.
Okay. I don't know. Until I see it, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It should be kind of interesting to see how it goes. But
okay,
we'll see.
We have a couple of questions here.
Oh, I love questions.
Steven, what's up, brother? Best Disney villain of all time. Ooh, Hades.
I would definitely say that Hades.
Devilishly handsome. Who voiced that? Was that
James Woods?
Was that James Woods?
James Woods, man. I mean, seriously. The funny part is, I'm thinking to myself, Hades has got to. I mean, seriously, most awesome villain, because James Woods is to Hades as a villain, as Robin Williams was to Genie. Simple as that.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, when you want to go, if you want to do the yin and yang bit type of thing, those two. If Robin was here today, him and James Woods. Wait. Okay, wait. I'm going to go on a tangent. Him, James Woods, James Earl Jones, and Morgan Freeman. All four of them would actually do some sort of an animation piece together. That would be awesome. Just saying.
True. Jafar. I saw Nick mention Jafar. That's pretty solid. Jafar scared me as a kid, but as I got older, I'm like, ooh, Scar. Okay, so here's a question.
Huh.
Would you consider Sid a Disney villain?
Oh, absolutely. I was
Really?
actually, the thing is, when you first asked that question, the first person that came to my mind was Sid.
Really?
I don't know why. Probably because, we're talking about Toy Story a little bit before and stuff like that. Sid is definitely a villain, but he's kind of a minor character villain. But he's still definitely a villain because of the havoc he wreaks. I mean, if you think about it, when you think of villains, do you think of someone like Chick Hicks as a villain in the movie Cars? Do you think, I'm trying to think of some of the other non-real, I want to say, there are a lot of other movies that we don't really realize that there is a villain in a lot of Disney type movies, and we don't necessarily look at them as a villain, so to speak, because it's not like someone like scary like Jafar or Scar.
What about Madame Medusa?
I would definitely say something like that. Yeah, maybe.
I'm just trying to rack through my brain some odd ones. Like the stepmother from Cinderella, I guess she would be considered a villain.
Oh, I think between her, was it Lady Tremaine? I think that's her name, isn't it?
Yes.
Between she and the stepsisters, they're all villainous in nature. So yeah.
What about Pete?
Pete from Pete's Dragon?
What?
Oh,
no,
Pete, as in Goofy and Pete.
Yeah, Goofy and Pete.
I wouldn't call Pete a villain. I think, because I don't think he's really villainous. I just think he's more of a pain in the butt.
Okay.
He's he's definitely not he's not an anti-hero. He's just annoying sometimes.
Ooh, Lotso. Yeah.
Lotso was definitely a villain in that movie. And it's hard to believe that, someone who's as huggable as Lotso and smells like strawberries is a villain. But it's a very true statement. He was a villain. He was, he had his problems. More antagonist. Thank you. I was thinking of the word. The antagonist is what I was looking for. Thanks, Stephen.
I love John. He was a troubled soul.
But bully, yep. That too. So
all
yeah.
Right.
Those are some really interesting pieces.
So Nick would like to know, do you see Epcot being expanded and adding a couple more countries like Brazil and Spain? Leading up to our previous D23, you put money on the table. I would have said that was something we were going to hear coming out of Epcot, because we all assumed Epcot was going to get the most. Epcot got two rides. Guardians of the Galaxy, got Ratatouille, got the space restaurant. That was it. And everybody's like, hey, what do you mean that was it? Epcot needs the most work.
Well, here's the thing. Epcot does not need to be expanded in order to put in more countries. That's something that's kind of a misnomer. There's actually a number of spaces that you don't really see that are ripe for putting in countries. Darn it, I'm messing up his name. Goodness gracious. I was just thinking about him in one of his works the other day. But there are a few different people that have written books on the whole topic of, like the Epcot that never was. And the interesting thing is that you can put other countries in some of those spots that you think is nothing or just some trees. There's space. You don't have to like expand anything with Epcot. You can almost drop countries in there. So there you go.
Oh, very true. To get back to the original question, like I was saying, if you had told me before D23, I would have said they were going to at least announce one country. We've always seen Brazil and Greece tied heavily to it. Greece, I would say, would have to honestly be on the back burner just because of the economical collapse they had. Because you got to remember, these are funded by the countries. Unless Disney was willing to take on the whole role of that country, but
David King. I mean, that's his name. David King. Sorry,
okay, no, it's fine.
I had to before I lost.
They could fix it up. Let's show Africa some real pride and not a hot dog stand and a Coca-Cola cart.
As long as it's not Wakanda, make it real Africa. Okay.
I'll take any Africa at this point. Better than a hot dog cart.
Yeah, better than a hot dog cart. That's 100% sure. But I know there are some people. Oh, we
and
need
take
Wakanda.
Those darn bongos out. Oh, that's so terrible. I could see definitely a South American country, Brazil, Colombia, maybe a Peru. You know what I'm shocked we'd never seen? A Puerto Rico.
Well,
no, you see what I'm saying? I understand that it's a U.S. territory and all that, but there's a lot of great food that comes out of there. They still fly their own flag. They don't fly our flag.
It is a territory.
So I guess maybe that's why, like, hey, how does it fit in the World Showcase when it's not its own country? But I mean, it's pretty close.
It's interesting. I mean, I would probably say you got a very interesting point there. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say along the exact same lines as Greece, but Puerto Rico would nowhere near be in a position to do that now. Still,
but technically, if it's a U.S. territory, would the U.S. slip that bill? See what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't even know if they go to these countries for funding anymore. I really don't.
See, that's the thing. I don't know if any country would actually do the funding for it. They would have to have some kind of return on investment promise.
Didn't Norway pull out?
Not that I know of.
I know there was talks of Norway pulling out.
Not that I've heard. But
this was about a year and a half ago. We talked about it on the show.
Yeah, but I don't think anything really came of it. I mean, the fact of the matter is that think about what there is in Norway. Okay. You've got the Stave Church, which is a very small walkthrough type exhibit. Which last time I went through it a year and a half or so ago was basically like related to the story of Frozen and the influence of Norway. You have you have dining there. You have Frozen Ever After. You have a little bit of shopping, and that's about it. I mean, you have some shopping, you have some dining, you have some food. The thing of it is that a lot of what was once like tourism based for Norway is gone. Like the what used to have used to be you go on Maelstrom. And then you have to wait. Then you would have to, then you would wait to go see the movie. And if you wanted to, most people didn't. But that was about the extent of the tourism outside of what Maelstrom was to kind of do the whole Spirit of Norway bit. So there's not much there other than some shopping and some dining, a ride, a walkthrough. There really isn't much.
Staying on I know, but what about, no, that wouldn't work. No, I didn't like my option. We did have a comment from Caroline, I thought it was. Yes. 7 spaces for future countries. They learned that on the tour.
Actually, I think it's 9.
All right. Well, let's just say it's a handful.
Sure.
And they could be adding.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that the tour is wrong. I just happen to remember someone mentioning 9. But that was okay. I mean, the thing is that would be kind of a cramp to put 9 other countries around there.
See, these are some good ones. Russia. Russia's got some great food. But I wonder how much the political everyday notions on media would cause a country like that not to be represented. India's got some banging food.
Okay, so here's the thing. You bring up a really good point, especially when it comes to the whole quasi-political type deal. Because, I mean, if you think about it, Morocco is not necessarily in the most peaceful area these days. India would be very interesting.
It would curry for days.
Oh, curry for days. I think that's also kind of a political hotspot. Just anything that's in the Middle East, if you think about it. Russia, I think there's no way on God's green earth that's going to happen right now. That would be a political uproar. I'm not speaking from a political standpoint. I'm just saying with everything that's in the news right now, that's what's making it a political uproar. I'm neutral. I'm not speaking.
Shout out to my boy Jareem over at Morocco, always giving me the beef and lamb. My man. A Sydney Opera House replica. That'd be interesting.
You see, Australia. Someone mentioned Australia earlier. I like the idea of Australia, but a lot of Australia is kind of uninhabited, if I'm not mistaken. You have Sydney, you have Melbourne, you have, the Outback, you have all these different areas, a lot of culture, a lot of, just a very beautiful country. But, we would have to see how it would turn out. I would love to see Australia there.
Madagascar. And then you could tie the movie into it.
Madagascar is not done by Disney, doofus.
Well, then don't tie Madagascar. Well, still, I had a good idea until
actually it was a good idea, it was a good idea. Not to mention, I like the movie anyway, so so I was
like, oh, look at this! I got a good one. That shows you I don't watch a lot of movies. We had a question a while back here. Let me see. Do you think they will ever do anything different with the legacy pictures at the beginning of Epcot, also known as the tombstones? I would be sad if they took it away. We have our whole family of 8 pictures in there. They go away soon.
They will eventually go away. That's known. They only committed to having them up there for, it was either
2025.
It wasn't that much longer. It was like either 20. It was like 20, 25, or 30 years. I think it was like 25 years, or something like that. So they are going to eventually go away. So I would say the next time you're there, take some pictures, because they committed to a certain time, and then they will go bye-bye. They'll be removed, and who knows what they'll put there.
Yeah. Man, that's going to be a weird day.
What, to go walk in there and not see the tombstones?
When they're gone.
I remember when we used to get, an actual vacation package, and then one of the things we can choose was one thing or this and the other, but one of the thing was leave a legacy. And I don't know why we didn't do it, but I would have loved to have left a legacy picture there. But yeah,
but I mean, it's just going to get destroyed. No, they're not going to give the pictures back to you.
No. Do
you know how hard it would be to chisel that out?
I'm just going to, how hard it'd be to try to find people.
I mean, I'm sure there's a record of who's on what slot.
Yeah, if you're still around at that address and contact information, especially if you did it back in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, that's interesting.
That would be kind of difficult. But, the
Epcot thing, I just feel bad.
Why? Or how?
I feel like it's wasted opportunity. I feel like Epcot just kind of got put to the back burner. And here's the thing is, you don't need to make Epcot bigger. you've got plenty of buildings that are either vacant or used for storage or are not utilized properly. I mean, if you've got land to, let's call it 7 to 11 more countries without disturbing or making it bigger overall, I mean, wasted opportunity there. I mean, that's why I have a very hard time believing that Disney is going to open up a fifth gate.
Yeah, I understand. I see where you're going. I think actually, though, once... Okay, this is my take on it. Once Hollywood Studios is done, which is going to be a year and a half from now, give or take, I just have a feeling that Epcot's going to get some love, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to be in the form of a country anytime soon. I would love for it to be a part of have another country come in sometime soon. I think that would be fabulous. I just don't think it's if there's a country that comes in, I bet you any money it's going to be something that's not mainstream, not something that we talked about, and it's going to be something different, something very surprising, but something very cultural. I think they will hit heavy on the cultural part, and also something that is going to be easily accepted by the touring guest public, so to speak. But I do think that Epcot is going to get its share of love. But we talked about this within the last couple of weeks about the idea of a fifth gate. I think we will eventually see a fifth gate, but I don't think it's going to come anytime super soon. And at the same time, I still think there's going to be a correlation to the addition of hotel rooms first. Then we will see sometime an additional gate come up. I just still believe that. I know you and I have a slight difference of opinion on that, and that's okay. I just think that there's going to be a method to the madness. They're going to create the traffic jam, and then they're going to say, we're going to alleviate the traffic jam by giving you a fifth gate.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not. I love the idea of it. I just would hate to see them put all their focus back into another park and then leave these struggling parks to dwindle away.
See, I don't think they're going to do that. I actually think that they will do something.
But they've done it though.
They'll put something in motion for Epcot first, because they can do more than one project at a time. But because it's going to take years for a fifth gate to actually to create the infrastructure for a fifth gate. And like we talked about before, they may have a fifth gate that's probably 75% done when they first open it, and then have it expand too. But I have a feeling they'll give Epcot some love first. They will finish what they're doing with Epcot, maybe give it another land. That's my prediction. They're going to give it some extra attractions and some stuff like that. But I have a feeling maybe not necessarily sometime soon, but we're going to see a fifth gate. The question is, and the big speculation is what exactly would that fifth gate actually entail? See, exactly. I was going right there, Aaron. How do you theme the fifth gate? And I don't think it will be Marvel. I just think because there's not enough, unless for some reason Disney.
No, it's in the contract. They can't.
Well, and contracts can be amended.
Very true. Very true. Over time, with the right amount of money, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't see that happening easily. Do I see it? Am I going to say never happen? No. With Disney, I've learned, ladies and gentlemen, you never say never with Disney. But the fact of the matter is that you have too much too many contractual obligations to deal with. So, there you go. That's my take.
As we wrap up here, we have a couple questions. Do you ever see the Osborne lights coming back? And do they ever say where the lights are now? No, Osborne lights never come back.
No, and those lights
that's Star Wars Junior Park over there. That's it.
Yeah, and those lights they were just lights. They're pretty much like gone, destroyed.
They could have been repurposed in other areas.
They might be, but the thing is, the way they had those things set up, dude, I have a hard time keeping my own Christmas lights untangled. Could you imagine? Can you imagine that? But
I wonder, the aspect of will they bring it back? No, but when that ran for just over 20 years, if my math is right. I remember when it went out. Was it 2016? Did it go out? Something like that. There was a lot of rumors that another park was going to pick up a spectacular like that. A lot of people had rumored that they would repurpose these lights in Disney Springs, which obviously we saw neither.
Almost. When they did that, and I was going to go right there too. I think if they're going to do anything with a Christmas light celebratory type of thing, I would say they're going to do it at Disney Springs. They tried the couple Christmases ago to do the whole thing with the drones and everything else like that to bring people into Disney Springs to see that type of thing. And I wouldn't put it past them if they took if nothing else, they take the tech that was used for the Osborne lights and apply it to something very similar. It wouldn't be the Osborne family spectacle of lights because of the theming that was along with it, but they could still do something along those lines with the tech. If they have those lights in storage, Trisha, that's one big, huge flipping garage. That's all I got to tell you. So it was only a couple weeks ago I finally got my lights taken down. So
Really?
Well, okay, maybe not. Maybe it was like a month and a half, 2 months ago. But our weather was so crappy here. It was just yeah.
So how outlandish would this be as we wrap up? And I'll let you stew on this, everybody listening. Would it be if I'm going to go crazy here. I'm not going to say Villains Park like we all want. I'm not going to say Marvel because I don't think they'll ever be able to fight that contract. What happens if they made a fifth park all for kids?
What do you mean all for kids?
Like a Disney Junior park. Definitely a park that is geared towards children.
I don't think
I don't like it.
I don't think it would stick.
I think it would.
It would be a small.
If you just flood that with Mickey Mouse, the originals that all the kids want to see, Winnie the Pooh, but then flood it with Doc McStuffin and just flood it with young children appetite, whatever. I'm trying to formulate the best wording here. Just flood it with everything you could think of for children. And I don't mean I mean like 10 and under.
No, I catch your drift. I definitely, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Basically a Disney Junior Channel park. Almost if you were going to, oh goodness gracious. Wasn't there like a section of one of the other theme parks outside of Disney that was very much geared? It was okay. Wasn't there like a Dr. Seuss?
There's a Dr. Seuss land at Universal.
Okay, which is obviously geared for younger kids.
It's wonderful.
Okay.
They have a people mover.
Nice.
Through like the story with Dr. Seuss. It's actually a really good time. See, everybody's telling me like, no, it would never work. No way, not enough to fill a park. Absolutely not. Look around. Look how many little kids there are.
See,
make it for toddlers. Oh God.
See, I was kind of going along the same lines of what Mary just mentioned. The problem with that is that they change the shows on Disney Junior all the time, and they can't seem to keep up with the merchandise, which I kind of have to agree that they have a hard time with the merch. And they have a hard time keeping up because, they do have all these different kids shows that come and go. That would be part of the problem, keeping it relevant, keeping it current, because, Doc McStuffins may not be a fixture 5 years from now.
But that's perfect because 5 years from now, more than likely the person who loved Doc McStuffins is not going to be going to that park. So you want that. See, that was my mind. That was the idea I had behind it.
You're using it as a stepping stone.
Yes, it's a park to get your kids acclimated to being around a lot of people, get your kids acclimated to start doing rides. And yeah, so in 5 years when Doc McStuffins isn't a real thing and they've got Johnny Karate as the next big thing, you transition to the Johnny Karate because that generation of Doc McStuffin people are already growing and they're now leaving that area and they've got no reason to go back to that area.
It's a very interesting concept. I will grant you that. I personally don't know how well that would actually work, but I think that, I mean, it's a very interesting idea. Use it as a stepping stone. Maybe you have very family / kid friendly bathrooms, that are kind of geared more towards those who are potty training. Maybe you have many more baby care centers. Maybe you have it very easy to be the entry level theme park for families with young kids.
Jen brings up exactly what I was trying to get at. Sesame Street seems to bring in. Have you guys seen Sesame Street? Was it not Palace Place? It's a little theme park for kids, all about Sesame Street, and it bumps. Granted, not Disney numbers. I get it. I'm not saying this has to be in this ginormous land, but if people worried about filling it, Sesame Street packs in. Crayola Factory, the water park, packs people in there. Now, granted, it is way cheaper to attend these places than it would be a Disney park. Yes, I understand that. I'm not saying this is a foolproof plan. I literally thought of it while sitting here. I'm just saying I would not be shocked.
See, that's the thing. I am not sure. See, actually, Megan brings up a very good point. To have a whole park like that, wouldn't it add to the stereotype that Disney is only for little kids? I think gateway drugs. Yeah, there you go. I think that's part of the problem is that we always try to get rid of the stigma that Disney is not necessarily for little kids. It's for families of all ages. And I don't know if you can make a park small enough to be for the smaller generation, more dynamic enough so that it would change, and not, of the right size where they can actually get a return on the investment instead of having it be just a money pit. That is a real, I think that those are some real tough logistics to find that sweet spot. But,
Thomas the Train in Lancaster. Mary loved Thomas the Train. They'll be there July 20th if anybody wants to attend. Got a lot of Thomas the Tank Engine fans in my house.
Gosh, I remember that.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's sound. I'm not saying it works. And I guess, yes, it does add to the stereotype of Disney being more of the family thing. But let's be real. As a business aspect, you want to be more family friendly than teens and early adults thrills. It's just that simple. For someone like me, it stinks. But it draws in families, people. Families spend more money.
You know what? Here's my take. Here, you want my take? I'm going to give you my take. As a precursor to something like that, I would like to see them redo Hollywood Studios department that has Disney Junior, which they are changing some things with Disney Junior. They're actually making it like a dance party type of thing, make it more interactive. But that whole area with Disney Junior, as well as Mary's going on the 20th. Oh, cool.
No, not to Disney, to the Thomas the Tank Engine in Lancaster.
Sorry about that. But you have the Disney Junior. You have that whole animation section, and like where where the Star Wars exhibit is and stuff like that. You can easily change that whole section back there to be multifaceted for the younger generation at Hollywood Studios, just for starters.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're not going to need the launch bay much after Galaxy Edge is put into play. In fact, it would almost be overkill. It almost seems like overflow at that point, because everything is going to be over there, and you have this. Change that for Disney Junior type stuff, because if you think about it, almost every park has something for kids. Hollywood Studios still has something for kids, but I think you can do more. And I think if you do that, you're gonna have that park really span generations. Back there with the Goo House. Yeah.
Chris, I love you. Chris and I have to get in touch with you too about your shirt. It's a silly statement, but I'm gonna go against it. Thrill rides to compete against Universal coasters. Universal is one coaster, essentially. I mean, maybe a couple more with, depending on what you want to count. Was it Kong and all that? Here's my thing. Just like when people say Disney is only for kids, is as silly as a statement as Disney needs to compete with Universal. Let's be real. Let's call Apple. Let's call an apple for an apple. Disney is not in the realm with Universal, and I mean that in a bad way for Universal. Universal doesn't hold a candle to Disney. Let's just be real. They don't. Have they done things to gain some more of a following and more attention? Sure, absolutely. At the end of the day, Disney is the superior. Disney has held that for years and will continue to hold it for years. Solely look at the amount of hotel space that Disney has, hotel rooms, compared to what Universal has. Right there goes to show you how much bigger Disney World is compared to Universal Orlando. Does Disney need to compete with them with thrill rides? Okay, I get it. You want to keep multi-generational families happy and have something to do with everybody. Yes. I'm just saying.
I don't necessarily think you need to have thrill rides in order to be competitive. I think you need to have good attractions that are entertaining for everybody. And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. I mean, because you've got some decent thrill rides. And the fact of the matter is not everybody... I mean, if you had thrill rides and just thrill rides, you could... Hey, listen, I can go to Six Flags an hour and a half from me and go on thrill rides all day long if I wanted to. But I want something more when I go to Disney. And, I feel like
Magic Kingdom has just as many thrill rides as Universal does as a whole.
Yeah, because I mean, and I'm not counting some 3D attraction as a thrill ride. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Yes, I love Muppet Vision 3D. I love Philhar Magic. I love It's Tough to Be a Bug. But,
And Trisha brings up a fair point. Not to say compete, but definitely more of a thrill hearing far more going to Universal than a few years ago. Absolutely. But I also think it could be a lot of things. Could it be some more thrill rides? Sure. Could it be that Universal's come out with some more current day stuff, Harry Potter, Fast and Furious? Sure. Could it also be that Universal's a tad cheaper?
I think it's a phase. I honestly think it's a phase. I mean, what I mean by that is that sometimes you have families that start out taking their kids to Disney. They want to try something different, especially as their kids become, especially, I'm not trying to stereotype, but especially teenage boys. They want to do more thrilling type stuff. They'll go over there. They'll have their fill. They'll come back to Disney eventually. I mean, or they'll do both.
Jen brings up a good point. Universal keeps adding stuff while Disney's been consistent, and Universal still doesn't seem to be as crowded as Disney. They're not going to be. Stuttering over myself. Universal couldn't even handle Disney's numbers. They would not be able to fit that many people in a park. You're talking about a two-park place compared to a 4-park place. You can't fit 4 people into a 2-person house. See what I'm saying? There's physically no room there. But either way, we don't know what's going to be built. No. And let's be honest, it's not happening anytime soon. So we're just going to continuously keep having conversations like this and see how outlandish we can get with some of the ideas. And if someone gets lucky and gets it right, I'll buy a churro.
Here's the thing, though. We talk about this without trying to sound kind of flippant. Does it really matter? I mean, I have no inclination of going to Universal, period. I've had a lot of people ask me, aren't you ever going to go there to do a comparison? Not unless someone pays me to, because I'm not going to do it. I
liked Universal. I mean, I didn't like all the 3D stuff, but Kevin makes a good point. If you're looking for thrill, you're not going to either of these places. Yeah, you're going to Cedar Point.
You're going to go to Cedar Point. You're going to go to Six Flags. You're going to go somewhere else.
Oh, I wouldn't say Six Flags. Cedar Point, though. I mean, that park is legitimately 99% thrill.
Oh, I'll give you that. What I'm talking about is I'm not going to drive 6 hours to go to Cedar Point when I got Six Flags an hour and a half from me either. I'm just saying.
And Caroline brought up a good point. Tron is coming.
And that's going to be a thrilling ride. I guarantee you that is going to be awesome. So I totally, I get it. And, my whole take on it is that, you know what, as families grow, as families get older, they are going to vacation differently. And some are going to go over to Universal. Some are going to come back to Disney. That's what I'm talking about, the whole phase bit. Is that sometimes, phase, it's more like the phase of the family, and where we are as a generation, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, phase as in fad. I'm talking about
no, and I agree with you in the aspect of if you've got, say, 2 teenage boys or a boy and a girl, however you want to look at it,
sure.
You're probably going to be, those kids are probably going to want to be more inclined to go to a place like Universal than they would at Disney. But I think you're always going to have the Disney with the young family and then the ever-growing family. Mm-hmm. You might lose that family in the middle for a few years. I do agree with that, and I think that's where Universal's done a great job of saying, hey, if we can't keep them, let's at least get them for as long as we can. Because Disney's more like, all right, we got them. You can have a little bit of their money because we know in a few years, once they start becoming adults and having kids and growing their family, they're just going to cycle back to us anyway.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of interesting you say that because, we don't have the typical family. My kids are 10 years apart. My daughter is the oldest. So the thing is that my daughter fell in love with Disney, never changed that tune. My son fell in love with Disney. He really hasn't changed that tune. And we still enjoy, going to Disney. About the only other place that we spend time at outside of Disney for, recreation is going to one of the many museums either in Chicago or around Indianapolis.
I'm going to end on this. Caroline says it good. Having ridden Tron in Shanghai, I found it to be very similar to the Rock and Roller Coaster. Ooh.
And I can't wait.
Take us away, Chris.
You got it. You heard the show, and we hope you want more. Well, feel free to join us over at our social media platforms. Instagram and our Facebook page can be found at Behind the Ears Podcast. Our webpage is behindtheearspodcast.net, and our email is behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. And our Twitter handle is @BehindTheEarsPC. And come and join the conversation about all things Disney over at the WDW community page. Don't forget to rate and review the show over at iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as it really helps us get the word out about the show. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or the Podbean app. Also, you can listen to us on Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and via Alexa and Google Home.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another wild episode. I use that word so loosely. Behind the Ears Podcast. I was Uncle Danny. That was Mr. Chris. I was Uncle Danny. I still am Uncle Danny, I guess. I'm always Uncle Danny. It's always there. Thank you all. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Keep downloading the show. Trisha would kill me if I didn't say this. Please join the WDW community Facebook page. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. We'll see you in 2 days on Thursday. With that being said, tuck your kids in tight, wear your seatbelts, drink that cranberry juice. Uncle Danny, I'm departing.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. We love you. We're so glad you're here tonight. And by all means, hey, we can't wait until Thursday. And we just got done with a long show. But until we meet again, we hope you have a wonderful day. Take care.